What is up, horror fans? Scream Fanatic here, and this is my first ever video with Scream 7 releasing in theaters in 2 months' time. In this video, I wanted to make a video in regards to Scream, in particular in relations to the movie Scream VI, Scream 6. And on this channel, I'm going to be doing like a lot of breakdowns and theories about, each Scream movie, and some predictions for Scream 7, and even some reviews on some, past Scream movies. I have been a massive fan of this franchise since 2022 when I got reintroduced to it through Scream 5. I've been in love ever since, and I cannot wait for Scream 7. Now, with Scream 7 coming out, Matthew Lillard has been casted as Stu Macher and is set to return. Now, it is heavily debated as to whether Stu is going to return as an AI deepfake, a flashback, a hallucination, or if he's going to be back for real. And in my personal opinion, but also based off a lot of, clues that have been left out there throughout the movies, I do think Stu is alive, and I do think he is coming back for real, and I do think he's coming back for revenge against Sidney Prescott. He's been plotting against her for years, and he wants to ruin her life, and I think he's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. I believe Stu Macher has been running a cult, and there are these common theories in regards to Stu that a lot of people have been making, that Stu killed Dewey, which I totally believe, and Stu attacked Gale Weathers in Scream 6, which I also think is true. I mean, you look at the way, we don't know if that's Stu, but the way that Ghostface stabbed, the way he gutted Dewey, that's how Stu described he would gut someone. And that Ghostface looked too tall to be Amber. Now, it could have been a stunt double, but I'm just going to say it was Stu, and that was intentional. And then I don't think Quinn attacked Gale either. There's no way a little woman like that could throw a big, strong black tank like Gale's boyfriend across the room after stabbing him. Even with him being dead weight, it's physically impossible. Only Stu Macher, who is about 6'4", is capable of doing such a thing. And even just the dialogue in that scene, which I don't want to get too much into it because that's not what this video is about. I actually have a very different theory about Stu's involvement in Scream 6. I believe Stu actually had multiple scenes in this movie and we don't even know it. And we're going to find out in Scream 7. But to the point, I think the one who killed Jason and Greg in the beginning, it was not one of the Baileys, right? Everyone thinks it was Wayne Bailey, right? I don't think it was him. It definitely wasn't Ethan, and it definitely wasn't Quinn. And in this video, I am going to explain exactly why I think Stu Macher killed Jason and Greg. I think Stu was manipulating the entire Bailey family and manipulating Jason and Greg, and I think he was playing both sides. Excuse me. I think he assigned the task to Jason and Greg to kill the Carpenters without, letting the Bailey family know about it. And then he also, told the Baileys, where the Carpenters would be. I think he was keeping tabs on Sam and Tara. He knew they would be in New York. And, that's why the Baileys ended up there. That's why Ethan, Landry, and Quinn ended up as roommates with Sam and Tara and Chad and Mindy. And I think Stu Macher, he also made a trip to New York as well, hence the attack on Gale and other scenes I think he was involved with in this movie, which I'll make separate videos on other scenes I think he was in outside of the Gale attack. But I'm going to focus specifically on the Jason and Greg kill. But I think that after Stu Macher killed Jason and Greg, he informed the Bailey family about it, and I think he told Wayne to take credit for killing Jason and Greg. right? Because Stu, at this point, he's not ready to reveal himself yet, right? He's not going to reveal himself until Scream 7. Because he says to Sydney on the phone, literally, I'm not hiding, Sydney, not this time. In the Scream 7 trailer, I think that was him. And then let's talk about the phone call. When Jason comes home to his apartment and he gets a call, right? And Ghostface is on the phone. The dialogue in that scene, it didn't seem like something that Wayne Bailey would say. It almost just seemed like Jason was speaking to a teacher, like a higher up, even though he thought he was talking to Greg. He felt so suspicious in that scene. Like, is this really Greg? Why is he keeping this voice changer on? And then the words that the Ghostface killer was saying, he almost sounded like a disappointed teacher. Like when Jason told him what the kill of, his film professor was like, saying that she was just meat, not human, felt like an animal. The way this Ghostface on the phone lectured Jason, it almost sounded like a disappointed teacher. And I cannot see Wayne talking like that. Like, Ghostface literally said, but she wasn't just meat, Jason. She was a person. And the caller really seemed to care that Jason, sort of went on a side quest to kill his film professor. Like that killer, the Ghostface on the phone, I could call him Stu, but we don't actually know for sure it's Stu. This is just my theory. But this killer seemed so irritated. Like, why did you kill your teacher? You weren't supposed to do that. You had a specific task and you disobeyed me, right? And only a cult leader would speak like that. And I get it. There was an illusion that Wayne was the mastermind behind everything of Scream 6, which I don't think he was. That's just what the writers, the creators want you to think. But I think there was another mastermind pulling the strings behind the Bailey family. And Wayne took all the credit for Stu. Because like I said, Stu is not ready to reveal himself. Not ready to unmask himself or reveal what he's been up to in these last 30 years. And Scream 6 was not the right time. I think Stu has actually been building up and counting down to the 30-year anniversary of the whole Stab franchise to come back and haunt Sidney Prescott, which I'll delve more into in a future video. But for right now, I'm sticking to the Jason and Greg theory. But back to the dialogue, another thing that this Ghostface killer said on the phone to Jason. Tell me why you're doing this in your own words. And then Jason says, we're finishing Richie's film. Ghostface says, there you go. Honestly, in my opinion, that sounds like a cult leader speaking down to a disciple, a teacher, talking down to a student. Like, does it not? And if Stu is running a cult, I can only imagine Stu saying those words. And not Wayne Bailey assuming that he, wasn't the mastermind. Now, you could counter my argument, but Wayne wanted to finish his son's movie. Sure, yeah, he did want to finish Richie's movie. And I do think that Stu didn't really care about the movie itself. He cared more about just, killing off the Carpenters. But he used the ambition, the hunger that these young, Stab fanatics have of recreating Stab movies. He used that to manipulate Jason and Greg and the Baileys, right? So he's sort of speaking through their lens and their ambitions. But I think Stu has a bigger motive than just recreating a film. And a motive that I'm not going to get into in this video. I'll talk about it in another video, in my prediction video for what I think is going to happen in Scream 7, what I think Stu's motive has been, what he's been building to in these last several years. But again, I don't think he really cares about the film. His plan is bigger than that, and he's not even revealing that to his own students. But here is where this, take of mine adds up. So do you remember when he finishes gutting Jason, and Jason is, sitting up against the fridge, bleeding out, saying, "But we have to finish the movie." Do you notice what Ghostface said? He literally, before slashing Jason, landing the finishing blow with the knife, he literally says, "Who gives a F about movies?" I feel like that is more proof that was not Wayne Bailey, because Wayne was passionate about finishing, Richie's, fanfic version or fan film of the Stab movie, or his recreation of the Stab movie in his son's honor. He cared. He really cared about his son's movie passion and to fill in those shoes. So why would he then say who gives a F about movies? That would almost be disrespect to his son. I could only imagine it being Stu. And I also can't imagine why Wayne would really care about Jason killing Samara Weaving, other than the fact that, she's fine, she's cute. Maybe that's why he'd be pissed off. Just kidding. But why would he care? Why would he even set up Jason and Greg like that? Why would he ask them to kill the Carpenter sisters just to bait and switch and kill them later? It just, for me, it doesn't add up. I really feel like it makes more sense for it to be Stu Macher. And of course, it would make more sense for Stu to say, "Who gives a F about movies?" as opposed to Richie's dad saying that. Because Stu Macher, he doesn't care about recreating the movies or anything like that. I think that Stu, he wants to become a legend on Billy Loomis level, or even bigger than Billy Loomis, because he's tired of being, the forgotten sidekick. I think that's kind of his main goal, and I said I wasn't really going to get into that, which I can delve more into that in greater detail, and I'll do it in another video. But yeah, his goal is not to recreate a movie, and I think that is why he would say that. And I think that's him sort of revealing the truth that I used you, I manipulated you, I tricked you into thinking I cared about a movie, but I really didn't. You messed up your task. The mask is dropping, but not physically, but metaphorically. And now you die for disobeying me. That's really what I think all of this came down to. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reaching. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with this theory? Am I cooking? I'm sorry if this video is a little bit longer than I intended, but I just had so much to say, so much to get off my chest. But like and subscribe and tune in for future Scream videos, theories, and breakdowns. Peace out.